Hey everybody, this is Chris DeFurio with Keys to the Shop. Welcome to another edition of Shift Break. Happy to have you along today as we talk about the Counterbalanced Barista. Now, today's episode is brought to you by the wonderful people making it easy to keep your equipment clean and working properly, and that is Ernex. Ernex has been creating cleaning products for the coffee industry for over 80 years, so a real long time, and they've developed products for a wide range of different equipment and formulated it to work specifically for those applications. We're talking about things like cold brew, steam wands, grinders, brewers, espresso machines, and even a dedicated cleaner just for roasters. What's awesome about them as well is that they work closely with professionals all over the world to make sure that what they develop for the shop is effective and easy to use. In my career, I have always used their products behind the bar, and I don't plan on changing that. I suggest that you try them out in your shop for yourself. The bottom line here is that clean equipment makes the best coffee, and the best cleaning products for your coffee equipment are made by Ernex. Go find out more information by visiting their website over at ernex.com. Today's episode of Shift Break is also brought to you by ODEKO. They're helping you make inventory and ordering absolutely easy. Of course, one of the keys to running a great shop is that you keep on top of your inventory. It's important to have the right stuff in stock at all times, and of course, that's easier said than done. To take the guesswork out of this and to make it very easy to do perfect inventory, that's where ODEKO comes in. ODEKO uses artificial intelligence to put your POS data to work for you. Then, it acts as your virtual purchasing agent to place orders for exactly what you need based on your sales history, based on weather, local events, and more. It has a more than 90% accuracy rate in predicting future sales, and the AI obsesses over every item to predict, fulfill, and manage your shop's inventory. ODEKO has helped their partners cut waste by 50%, reduce food costs by 9%, and owners and managers can expect to save about 2 to 5 hours per week in time. If you want to cut waste, save time, and streamline your ordering and inventory, then you need to sign up for ODEKO. Go find out more information and sign up today over at odeko.com/keys to the shop. Again, that's odeko.com/keys to the shop. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about something that I'm calling the Counterbalanced Barista. This is something that I had on an old blog of mine, and I wanted to kind of bring it up again here because I think it's an important message that we need to hear on repeat. And you probably have never read this particular blog post of mine because it was way back in the past, but I want to elaborate on this a little bit in the shift break that we have today. So what do I mean by the Counterbalanced Barista? Well, a counterbalance is something that you use to restore balance to something that's skewed in one direction. So in our professional work, we tend to be skewed in the direction of things that are a little bit more flashy, a little bit more, we're all attracted to different aspects of the industry, and we tend to favor those particular aspects. That could be latte art, it could be competitions, you could just want to be on the machine and not on the register. There are lots of things that you might consider the less than ideal places in the cafe, and because of that, we tend to invest most of our energy and our best thinking and our best emotions in those areas where we feel passionate, where we feel connected to it, where time doesn't really apply. It feels like no time has passed and we've just been in the zone. Other tasks like dishes or the register or taking care of the cafe outside of the bar, those things can tend to become drudgery. Customer service might be one of those for you, cleaning, etc. There are lots of really necessary things that, if they're not paid attention to, they're going to start to encroach on your ability to actually do the parts of the job that you like doing. People eventually won't come to your coffee bar and get your great latte art or your amazing espresso because other parts of the business that are going to start to impact their experience. And so what I likened this to was kind of our tendency to take the path of least resistance. It's a lot like espresso. When you're in your Espresso 101 class, when you're in the training lab and the trainer is teaching you your first lessons about espresso, one of the hard tasks that you have to do is learn how to tamp coffee. Now, if you have a puck press, of course, now you don't have to learn how to tamp coffee. It does it for you. But, well, most of us are still tamping our espresso pucks by hand. And one of the things that the puck press is meant to get rid of, and one of the things that trainers are there to train you not to do, is to be too heavy on one side. And we know that water is lazy, and it goes to the path of least resistance. And when you have one side of the puck of coffee that's thin and another part that's thick, the water is going to favor the side that's thinner because it's easier to go through that area. And that's what we do with our jobs. We favor with our attention and our energy certain aspects, like we do certain sides of the portafilter basket. So if you're tamping and you're pressing heavy on your thumb, equate that to if you're on a shift and you tend to ignore the condiment bar and try to avoid getting on register and always, avoid customer service. What's going to happen to you is the same thing that'll happen to that coffee. There's going to be a bad extraction. You're not going to get the most out of your experience in the coffee industry unless you apply equal pressure to all points that you've taken on in this profession of being a barista, of being a manager or a trainer. Whatever your station is currently, if you're not applying equal pressure, then you're going to be favoring one side or another, and the extraction is not going to be that great, just like with coffee. So what I would encourage you to do is this. Recognize that we have this tendency to sort of shift over to those things that we like in a way that's detrimental to the other things that we don't like, and apply a counterbalance. What that might look like for you is a reminder that these things are important, to discipline yourself to focus on them, almost like a personal checklist that you bring in, secondary to the checklist that you're responsible for. And in that personal checklist could be a list of things that you have a tendency to ignore because you tend not to like those things. You could also get somebody to hold you accountable for those areas that you're weakest in, and you'll start to see yourself improving. I find it personally helpful to connect what I'm doing that I don't like to do naturally to something that I do like naturally. If, for example, I don't like working the register because it can be draining and repetitive, whatever, I can connect it to some part of the bar that I do like. If I gravitate toward the espresso station, then I can start to connect in my mind the fact that if I do a great job interacting with the customers, I'm setting up my coworkers for success, and I am setting up a situation where when I'm on the bar again, doing the thing that I like to do more than anything in the cafe, those customers are going to keep coming back. This company is going to keep growing, and opportunities to do more of what I love naturally are going to keep multiplying. And eventually, and this is true for me, I actually start to enjoy those aspects of the job because I've invested energy in redefining them so that I can successfully put more of myself in them. So for me, doing dishes is one of those things, and now I'm really proud of how I do dishes. Now I'm really proud of how quickly and thoroughly I can do them, and it's one of the standard operating procedures that I love to teach. And I don't know, it's just washing dishes. It's not, something flashy, but it's a product of focusing on it with intention, counterbalancing what I know to have been a weakness has now brought it up into balance with everything else. I'm pushing down on that puck of coffee, or my career in my job, if you will, with equal pressure. And if you're not doing this intentionally, you're going to drift to one side or the other, and you're going to become imbalanced and not get the most from your experience in the coffee industry. So all of this to say, I think recognizing the need to counterbalance our default to the path of least resistance opens up the road ahead of us for a very satisfying career in coffee that you and the people you serve are going to enjoy well into the future. I think it's a real key to a sustainable career in coffee, and I hope that this has been helpful for you today. I think the next step may be just to make that personal checklist of areas that you know that you might be weaker in on the bar. Start applying yourself in those areas the next time you get on shift, and see how constantly reminding yourself and investing that positive energy to those areas will start to make you a more well-rounded professional and give you a more satisfying career in the end. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you here next week for another edition of Shift Break, from keys to the shop.